Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is another Doom posty type vid. I want to make it very clear. I don't enjoy making these videos. I really don't. But I think it's important to get the word out there, to talk about what we know is bad, and to correct the companies that make the games we love, which we feel like are going in the wrong direction. And that's why we're talking about today. HSR is becoming more whale-gated than it ever has. It's been a problem for a while. I've made numerous videos talking about it myself. In fact, I think I've made 3 just this month. We talked about the Honkai Star Rail Lightcone Problem. We're going to talk about that today as well. We talk about how Honkai Star Rail is becoming a free-to-play disaster 2 weeks ago. It honestly feels like I'm talking about this subject every single week, and it gets worse with the 3.7 updates. It doesn't stop there. We're going to be going over every way in which this game is becoming more and more orientated toward free-to-plays, and I hope this video helps you feel rectified, makes you feel heard, because HSR might not listen to you, but I want you to understand the content creators are. We got you. I might not be free to play, but I got a lot of friends who are, and I feel like they're continually done dirty by this game on a constant basis. Now, this issue has started from what it feels like from the start of the 3.x updates. And the start of the path of remembrance was when I feel like this really got bad. Now, at the beginning, it was really good. RemTB was a good character. He's completely free. He worked great in the Cassie comp. Awesome character. But when it starts to get bad is when you look at characters like Aglia, Castoris, Les Hyacinth, and Evernight. Same thing with Maide and Finon 2. We're all good examples of characters who felt like they needed their particular light cone in order to get a lot stronger. Again, I have a full video covering the full free-to-play light cone issue, so you can go watch that. But the general idea for this issue is a lot of the good light cones are locked behind battle passes and getting the 5-star, right? And being real, most free-to-play players don't have the luxury to go and roll for a 5-star light cone. Some do, some don't, some get lucky. It's a variety, of course. But when you make the best in slot signature, I mean, the 5-star light cone should always be the best in slot, but there should be other viable options that aren't battle pass, variety of 5-star light cones that aren't even in the path. And let's be honest, HSR doesn't even intend for you to use this light cone, because as we stated in my last video, if they intended you to use the HP scaling light cone on Castoris, then they would recommend it to you in the game tools in the website that is linked in their game. You know why they don't recommend it to you? Because 1, they don't intend for you to use off-path light cones. That'd be like them admitting their own incompetence that they can't make a good on-path light cone that is actually viable for the player to get, that isn't locked behind payments. This isn't just a Castoris issue. This is plenty of other characters. This is Don Hang PT, where you'll notice his options are, again, 5 stars in a different path or battle pass signature. Evernight was the same thing. Signature, Castoris light cone, battle pass, mid light cone, some HP scaling ones. The fact that the best in slot free to play option for all of these characters is off path light cones is ridiculous, guys. Come on. At this point, they are literally almost requiring you to buy the battle pass to get a good option for these characters or spend your jades on the banner. And honestly, I don't want to say this will be the same for Cyrene. I really hope it isn't, but it definitely could be the case. But we do know a 4-star is coming out alongside her in the form of Fly Into a Pink Tomorrow. So maybe this will change with Cyrene. I want to give them benefit of the doubt. Maybe this will be some cracked light cone. Prayers. That's the summary of the light cone issue. Hopefully it ends with Cyrene. I really don't want to see this in the future. The next issue, and a big one, is Eidolons requirements. And, well, wouldn't you believe it, that's most reflected in the latest character, Cyrene, who, wouldn't you know it, is a character who, from the rumors, requires Eidolons in order to get her ult up or be at all viable in the current course of the meta, which is absolutely terrible. Everybody kind of already knows this. It's actually been like a big meme. If you go to the Cyrene mains website, they have their banner set as all the paid top-ups, because that's how many top-ups you'll need to have a good Cyrene. That's ridiculous. If I have to spend somewhere in the realm of, if you lose all your 50/50s, like 500 Canadian dollars to get Cyrene, and then on top of that, spend another 500 for her bow skin. We'll get into that later. That's insane. It's ridiculous. No character should have a $500 lock. And what's even worse is shills will still pull for all of it. They'll just put down the $500 and think, oh, I need Cyrene. Brother, you don't need Cyrene. Straight up, it's not worth $500. It's not. There's better things which you can do with your money. Now, you're your own individual. You can do what you want. That's just my recommendation. But this isn't just a problem with Cyrene. This started much longer before Cyrene. This has been a problem for a while. Characters who require Eidolons is not something new in this game. The character that I immediately think of when I think of characters that require Eidolons was Aglia. Now, Aglia's issue can be circumvented through getting a Sunday as well, but that's still a whole nother character you need in order for just Aglia to function on her own. E0 no Sunday, this character straight up doesn't function. Her Eidolon 1 is such a big power increase, and the fact that it gives her more energy so that she can functionally get up her ultimate in a good rotation and not just be completely useless. And it's funny because this is almost the same issue we're seeing with Cyrene, right? This one was an energy regen issue. Aglia has huge energy regen problems at E0 with no Sunday. And just the E1, just like Cyrene's going to have the same issue. Unfortunately, this time, they're not going to fix the issue with the Sunday. But you know what? Maybe there's another reality where they make another character later on that's like the Cyrene fix. Because what HSR likes to do is create problems in the character's kit, like for example Aglia, and the only way to fix their problem is to buy something else. Just reality. And so that is my second big problem with HSR right now. Required Eidolons, required Lightcones, to me are the big two. And now let's get to our third issue. Paid events and paid skins. This one by far infuriates me the most. This one makes me the most upset. If you don't know, Honkai Star Rail recently had an event called Cherished Recollection. This isn't their first time doing this event. I've dogged on this event before, and I'll just let me speak for myself here. So hold up quickly. It's collect Oneric shards. So you have to spend money on the game to get these things. Once you give them what's essentially 8,000 Oneric shards, what is that? Hold up, shop. Once you give them 140 Canadian dollars, you can get one free limited time light cone. And then once you spend, what's that? 1,800 Oneric shards. So that's like, oh, that's like 3 of these packs. So once you spend like about maybe around 500 Canadian dollars, then you can get one of the free characters with the golden variable dice. And if you spend even more than that, you get a personal display set that has a phone wallpaper in it. Jesus Christ, man. You know there's gonna be some cucks who spend money on this too, hey. And I mean that, by the way. If you spend like 600 something Canadian dollars to get the bow skin, I think you're and it's so bad too, because the bow skin doesn't even change that much. This one is worse than the last one, because the value from this one is less. At least in this, you got a free light cone. In this one, there's no free light cone. It's all artifact related stuff. Some dumb looking hat, which I'm gonna be real. That hat looks stupid. Sorry, I have to show you guys now. This is 30 bucks for this dumb looking hat. I wouldn't even wear this if I had it for free. Straight up. And they're charging 30 bucks for that. You want to know what else was $30? The Carlotta skin. The entire Carlotta skin and Chang-Li skin was at a discount for 30 bucks. And that's not even the worst of it. The bow is like 600 Canadian dollars. I always had to specify Canadian because I talk in Canadian dollars because I'm Canadian. And boys, look at the difference. Straight up. Look at this. There's like no difference. It's just like self-insert slop with the Trailblazer kissing up on Cyrene. Like, what? It barely changes anything. Oh, then there's the comparison to the Alicia difference, which is free versus $100. And there is a drastic change in HA3 between those two, where the change for $300 is basically nothing. Straight up. And you know what's crazy? Back to Cyrene mains, you still got people defending this. That's the insane thing. Oh, wow. And you call Hoyo money hungry? Be for real. If it's a free bonus, you get it if you support Hoyo voluntarily. Support Hoyo! Brother, they're $1 billion. Stop. Brother, you were out here defending billion-dollar companies and talking about how you need to support billion-dollar companies. Have we lost the plot? Yes, you get it as a bonus, but you don't pay for the actual stuff. It comes as a side bonus to your extra pulls. You said so yourself. It changes nothing of substance. So it's a little cosmetic bonus that doesn't add any relevance for Peelk that give their money so the likes of you can play the game for free. Brother, stop it. Get out of here. The whales on the high horses like, we're the only reason you can play the game. Brother. Now, I want to state this isn't a very popular opinion, and you guys can read the reply for yourself, but I think this stuff is so cringe, man. The fact that people would even defend that is frankly mind-boggling. So yeah, I thought that stuff was outrageous in 3.2. I still think it's outrageous now. Nothing's changed my mind about it. It's dumb. Sorry if that section had a little too much outrage in it. Frankly, that stuff really makes me upset. I got a little bit rage baited there. I won't even cap. Maybe I got to take the cap off for the rest of this. And my last point is, because I know a lot of people are going to argue this point, is, oh, but they give out these free characters. Like we saw with the latest update, they're giving out another free Golden Companion Spirit and Topaz. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. Topaz is useless. Straight up. Love her to death. She's great. But, like, in terms of the current meta, she just ain't it. If you want a Topaz, you can get her. But in my opinion, this is not something that's like pushing the needle forward to like helping you beat endgame. Now, the reality is that Ron May is here and Ron May is a good unit. But the thing is, you could already get a Ron May because we already had a Golden Companion Spirit and this is our second one. So I guess you could still get a Luocha if you don't have a good sustain. But again, it's not something that's really pushing the needle forward to help you beat endgame. Ron May isn't going to be a revolutionary character for your account. Luocha isn't going to be revolutionary, right? In order to beat endgame, you need very specific things. Now, if you don't care about endgame, then why are you watching this video? Because frankly, the only people who should be upset that are free-to-plays are the free-to-plays who care about beating endgame. If you're just a free-to-play who's playing because they're like, oh, look at Kafka, she's so pretty, I have fun. That's great. Frankly, that's me, except I'm not free to play. I just like looking at the characters. If you're that type of player, you shouldn't have a problem with any of this. The people who should have a problem with this are the people who want to progress further and improve their accounts so that they're able to 12-star MOC and stuff like that. And unfortunately for those players, HSR isn't giving you the materials you need to do that. You think about, okay, what free characters have they given out? You think about the ones. Dr. Ratio isn't helping you do that. Dong Hang PT, great sustain, will keep you alive, but again, he's not pushing the damage needle forward to helping you kill the latest bosses because they all have very high amounts of HP. He does like 100k or something a hit. It's just not enough damage to really be substantial when trying to beat MOC. And then the last one was Archer, who is a character who requires another 5-star in the form of Sparkle in order to be good. And I love Sparkle, but you should not be giving out a free character that requires a paid character in order for them to be at all remotely viable, right? So I love that they gave them out for free, but I just wish they would give out free characters that actually felt like they helped you in a substantial way to move your account forward. I think the best example of that, and I think they did do a good job with Don Hang PT. I think Don Hang PT was the best example of that. Now, I do think you should have to roll for some of them and have a bit of the challenge yourself, but I also just don't think they give you the materials needed to get those characters to beat the latest game. I was doing some research into how many pulls you get a patch. This is just from version 3.5. The general estimate for free-to-plays is 88 pulls per patch. And then if you get the Express Pass, it's 112, and then plus Nameless Glory, it's 120. If you're free-to-play, you're not doing any of this, 88 pulls a pass, straight up not enough. Hard pity in this game is 70. If you lose a 50-50, you don't get the latest character, your account's just done. And like, it is what it is. Obviously, it's gonna vary from account to account, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough, especially with this latest update and it being the most predatory update ever. There's 7 warps. There's 7 different banners. And so if you're somebody who only gets 88 pulls a patch, I mean, unless you saved up for a long time and knew this was coming, then, I mean, at most you get 1 character from this patch, maybe 2 if you get lucky. But yeah, my conclusion on that is I really just wish that they would give you the materials required to beat the latest endgame well not having to spend money, because I feel like at this point there's so many different forms of predatory tactics, which we've talked about all throughout this video, and they try in so many different ways to get you to spend money, which is normal for gacha. Doesn't make it a good thing, but it's very typical for the space. And HSR isn't the worst by far, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still bad. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Will the HSR devs listen? Probably not. I mean, literally, we heard from CN that Chinese players were putting up criticism and they got muted. Essentially, what HSR devs like to do is they like to go, la, 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 I can't hear you, right? And they just close their eyes and they're like, well, if I can't see it, then it doesn't exist. And that's what we're seeing again. So hopefully something changes. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. That's going to be all from me, boys. Peace.